Hi, this is Cheryl. In this video, I will be presenting my capstone project, how Western luxury brands can cultivate long-term brand commitment with Chinese young consumers. As the emphasis of global luxury consumption is shifting eastward, Chinese consumers begin to gain a strong foothold in the luxury market. Despite the impact of COVID-19, the Chinese market currently takes up over 35% of global luxury spending, valued at 44 billion euros in 2020. Meanwhile, the noticeable generation shift cannot be neglected. The average age of Chinese luxury consumers is only 28, a full decade younger than most other countries in the world. The major market share of Chinese luxury consumption started to be occupied by millennials and Generation Z, who grew up with societal changes such as one-child policy, rise of internet, education expansion, and globalization. They are encouraged to express themselves and explore individuality that more nuanced, inspirational, and personalized elements are much more valuable to them than brand names. Especially after COVID-19, Chinese consumers have put well-being, happiness, and experience in priority that emotional impact and unique experiences become more important. However, the young generations are less loyal and exhibit a higher tendency to churn, which is plaguing Western brands. Their disposition to venture for new luxury experiences makes retaining brand loyalty more difficult. Western luxury brands can cultivate long-term brand commitment of young Chinese consumers with authenticity by integrating local cultural elements, showing awareness and respect for Chinese values, and adopting localized digital marketing techniques. While older generations showed a great predilection for foreign companies, millennials and Gen Z now start to show a tendency to shop local brands, and this shift was accelerated by the pandemic. Their rising awareness of Chinese local brands, artists, and designers, and the value of Chinese cultural heritage have brought new challenges for Western luxury brands. According to a survey did for this research, only 5% of people disagreed that luxury brands should integrate Chinese local culture to cater to the local audience. The e-commerce director of a French luxury company, Alfred Zheng, also contended in an interview for this research that making adjustments of product designs or marketing strategies according to the differences of local cultural environment is undoubtedly a must that needs to be implemented. However, a shallow interpretation surely cannot trick shrewd Chinese consumers. Engaging with China's traditional festivals is a great entrance for Western luxury brands to get close to Chinese culture. Spanish brand Loewe has shown a deep understanding in Chinese culture, incorporating Chinese traditions of kingship and craftsmanship into annual Spring Festival collections since 2019. It created short films that documented China's time-honored craftsmanship into shadow puppetry, paper cutting, decorative knotting, and etc. for viewers to learn more about Chinese intangible cultural heritage. Loewe's commitment in promoting traditional craftsmanship has bonded tightly with Chinese consumers, creating a benchmark for Western luxury houses. Collaborating with local brands, designers, and artists is also a great opportunity to infuse Chinese cultural elements into Western brands' localization. Canada Goose with Angel Chen, Burberry with Honors of Kings are all great attempts to bring young consumers closer. Incorporating local culture and adapting to local customers' aesthetics is essential in building intimate connections with brands' audiences because they can feel that their culture is recognized and valued. China is forecast to become the largest luxury market in 2025. The luxury industry is enjoying a sales bonanza in Chinese market, yet the litany of mistakes that brands are making is only showing how little they truly understand Chinese customers. In November 2018, Dolce & Gabbana fell into a crisis of cultural insensitivity by publishing a campaign video on Weibo featuring a Chinese model struggling to eat Italian food with chopsticks. The campaign gave rise to a serious backlash by Chinese consumers, and two of the biggest e-commerce platforms in China, Alibaba and Jingdong, had put the brand off their websites. And the incident is not an isolated case. First of all, Chinese people have no tolerance for brands that hold beliefs against the political standpoint of them. Versace, Coach, and Givenchy have all experienced backlash for implying Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan as countries on their t-shirt designs. Burberry incurred a severe outrage when being found that to be a member of BCI, which boycott Xinjiang cotton in the first place. Second, brands need to be clearly aware of the contrast between the West and the East, recognizing that what appeals to Western consumers does not necessarily work as effectively as to Eastern counterparts. Burberry released a tone-deaf Lunar New Year campaign being described by Chinese netizens as Asian horror movie. And Balenciaga's 2020 Qixi collection was accused of cultural appropriation of Chinese bygone aesthetic style in the 1980s. According to a survey, over 80% of people believe that it is integral to deeply comprehend local culture and people's values before making any localized decisions. It is reasonable that foreign companies cannot fully take local consumer standpoints, so hiring local experts in core teams and listening to their voice is paramount. It is important that the entire management team can work closely with Chinese staff to understand the market, to develop appropriate strategies that align with China's unique characteristics. Growing up with the birth and development of the internet, millennials and Gen Z are more willing to actively obtain information online, communicate with their peers as well as brands based on common interests and identities. They are more receptive and discerning to online advertising, but meanwhile, it is harder for them to be truly impressed or touched. They are extremely strict with whether these messages are delivered in the way they recognize, so luxury brands need to establish distinctive propositions to attract the young group with messages that resonate with them to build and retain brand commitment. There is no need to emphasize the importance of social media as a useful and indispensable tool to increase brand awareness and consumer engagement, while in China, it is also crucial to be aware of the importance of combining social media with e-commerce. The functionality of e-commerce in China is not constrained within online purchases. Instead, it serves as a channel where consumers can learn about product details, look for peer review and feedback, and engage with brands. Popular social media platforms like WeChat, Douyin, and Xiaohongshu are all launching e-commerce functionality where brands are able to engage broader audiences, strengthen brand equity, and retain customer loyalty. Live stream commerce on social media has become a major way Chinese consumers shop, and though it started from cosmetics and daily necessities brands, it also a great chance for luxury brands to aim at. However, it is important to remain exclusivity and keep the form and contents consistent with the entire brand's tone and positioning. Surely, the power of brick-and-mortar stores still cannot be underestimated. Young consumers are craving a combination of digital and physical for their shopping experiences. Omnichannel experiences will effectively assist brands to build stronger ties and cultivate brand loyalty with the technology and digital-savvy Chinese young generations. In conclusion, facing fickle Chinese young luxury consumers who incline to be less loyal, Western luxury brands should make prompt adjustments and develop appropriate strategies to adapt to the evolving market. At the same time, no luxury brands could risk making any mistakes of cultural insensitivity. We really hope luxury brands can learn their lessons through past failure and be extremely careful to avoid cultural blindness. It is imperative to deliver authenticity in order to build long-term brand commitment.